Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is day 90. Please make sure that you're checking my website to make sure that you're keeping safe and you can adapt poses so that it's going to suit you really well. Do subscribe if you'd like to, and if you want to come onto your back. So you're going to come to lying down so that your back is comfortable on the floor. Nothing like coming onto the floor for me. So settle your back down onto the ground, so we get that feeling of the pelvis widening, the shoulders widening, the back of the head getting a little bit heavy. And then let your arms just rest comfortably out beside you. Just notice how you're feeling in this moment, so notice how your physical body is and how you feel inside of yourself. You're going to take your hands up and overhead. You're going to have your shoulders wide and soft, and then you're going to press into your feet to lift up with your hips. You're going to take an easy breath so that the breath feels like it can move in easily and then out, and the shoulders can soften down and onto the ground. You're going to uncurl down with your hips to let your hips come back and onto the floor. We're going to do that same process with the option of taking your hands underneath your hips. So this is only if it feels good for you. It makes it a little bit stronger if you would like. So same starting position, feet steadily on your mat and on the floor. You're going to press down through your feet to lift up through your hips. From here you're going to spread your arms wide and underneath your hips so you can interlink them. You're going to think about your arms becoming a little bit long, so you're extending your hands towards your heels, and you can tuck one shoulder under and then the other, so we can end up with that deeper back arch if you would like. Should still feel like a restful position that you could potentially talk through, and that your breathing stays relaxed and even with. So make sure that your breathing guides you. It's the most important thing that you can do. And then let your arms come wide. Slowly let your hips come down, so uncurl down to the spine, down and eventually to the hips. You're going to bring your knees over your chest, and you're going to let your knees rock from one side to the other side, so easing out through the lower back. And then we're going to do that one more time, so feet come down, hips lift up, hands link underneath if you would like, so we get that feeling of space. You're pressing into the feet to draw your chest up or your upper chest up and towards you. So you're getting a feeling of activity in the legs, there's a movement in the spine, but you should still have that really steady rhythmical breathing. Nice breath in, nice breath out. And then undo with your hands, let your hips come down to the floor, settle your hips onto the ground, and take a breath. We're going to come up to standing now. So we're going to come through a forward bend. So if you want to take your hands onto the floor, you're going to lift up with the hips, fold forward, so a little bit soft through the back of the legs, just easing forwards, and then bend through the knees, stretch all the way up and overhead, and then bring your hands back to your heart. We're going to be doing a standing pose now, so just make sure you've got a little bit of space on your mat. So from a comfortable standing position, so first of all, settle your weight into your heels so you feel nice and settled. That little feeling of a little lift underneath the diaphragm and sinking down through the feet. From here, you're going to take a step forward. So you can take a small step, you can take a big step, whatever's going to feel good for you. Hands are going to come wide, and we're going to take the front legs, the hand on that same side is going to come over the top, and you're going to wrap your hands towards one another. So it might be that they just stay wide, it might be that they wrap all the way in, it might be that it's wider through the shoulders. The higher that you can wrap through the elbows, the more likely it is that your hands will come together, but we're not actually doing an exercise for your hands and your elbows, so do feel free to let go of where your hands and elbows are, because what we're working with is the upper back and across the back of the shoulders. Oh, lovely stretch out. So from here you're going to lean yourself up and forwards, so you've got a feeling of length through the front leg, and then you're going to press your elbows away and lift them up. So that's when you're going to get a lovely, lovely stretch out through the back of your body. You're going to bring your hands in towards you, press down through your front foot to bring yourself up. Send your arms wide and back to standing. That is going to be my text about school. I don't know what's happening quite yet. Hands come wide, shoulders relax down. Hand on the same side as the front leg is going to be coming over the top. So you're taking your arms over the top, wrapping round. Shoulders come up and forwards. Steady through that front leg, so the front leg stays nice and strong. And then gently extend your elbows down towards the floor and then lift them up to get that lovely stretch out through the back. Bringing your hands and your arms in towards you. Bring your hands out and wide and back to standing. Let the weight settle into the heels, the shoulders soften and come down. I am going into school today, so you're welcome to replay that bit and do that again. But I think I need to make sure that I'm on time for school, so please rewind if you want to do that bit again. And if you bring yourself to sitting with legs out in front. So you're going to have your legs just comfortably out in front for you. You're going to take one leg and you're going to fold it in towards you. So it could be that your heel is out beside your other foot, it could be it's towards the knee, it could be closer in. It's important whenever we're doing movement with the knees that we're not stretching around this area of the knee. It needs to stay nice and relaxed. But obviously stretching into the hips and the big muscles is absolutely fabulous. So from here you're going to take both hands onto your straight leg. And you're going to ease yourself forwards over that straight leg. So think about the movement in the pelvis. So you're coming from the pelvis to bring your shoulders forwards. We're not leaving the pelvis high and letting the shoulders come down. That's a different process. So you're leaning up and forwards from the hips. So it's almost like you're extending back through the tailbone to bring yourself forwards. From here, you're going to let one hand come up and away and you're just going to extend up towards the ceiling. And then this hand, you're going to imagine you're wanting to make space into the rib cage, into the side of the waist. So just ease yourself up and over. And then stretch up with your hand all the way out. Bring your hand down to the floor and then twist yourself around towards your bent knee. So coming up and round. So there's a lovely feeling of being able to be really rooted down through the pelvis at the same time as coming round through the rib cage, the tummy, and easing both shoulders. Bringing yourself back to the centre, and then we're going to come to the opposite side. So opposite leg is going to come in. Just notice, does it like a similar place to the other one, or is the knee joint different on this side? Often we'll find asymmetries in the body. Hands are going to settle onto your front leg or onto your straighter leg. So you're easing up and forwards from the pelvis. So if you imagine it from a mathematical point of view, we are reducing the angle of this little bit here. So this is not reducing the angle any at all. This is reducing the angle. So it's right the way in here. Of course, it makes it a little bit trickier because there's a lot of other things that are going to start to tell you, but that's why we're doing it. So do soften off through this front knee at any point so that this feels comfortable for you. So just easing yourself forwards, enjoying that stretch out. You're going to let one hand rest onto your straight leg, other hand is going to come up and overhead. So we're coming up and overhead to start to get that stretching out sensation. Then you can ease yourself up and over the front toes. So just enjoying that feeling of making space so you're dropping down through the hip on the bent leg and up and over with the toes. And then extending up with your fingertips all the way out and down so that your hands come onto the floor. From here you're going to take the hand that was on the straight leg, bring it over to the bent leg so you can bring yourself out and round. So it's almost like you're coming down through the hips to bring yourself round. Take an easy breath here. And then bring yourself back to the centre. Take both legs out and away, stretch forwards for a moment. And then bring yourself up and to sitting. So we're going to do a little bit of breathing practice. So you're just going to sit yourself comfortably and you're going to start to get that feeling of settled and even. Today you're going to just start to imagine that you can breathe into the centre of your body, so into the heart area. And that as you breathe into the heart area, you're going to expand into the heart area all the way up to the top of the rib cage, down and into the belly. As you breathe out, and almost as if you can breathe out through the heart. Inhaling, taking up space from the heart and all the way through the body. Exhaling out. Inhaling, filling up the body, and then seeing if you can expand beyond the physical body and out into around you. And exhaling smaller and smaller out through the heart, extending away. And one more time. And out. So my challenge for you today is to find a kids book that you like. I'm a big fan of kids books, no surprises, being a primary school teacher as well as a yoga teacher. And this is one of my favourites. I've got quite a lot of favourites. So one of them is Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. I love that book. It's just great. And this is one of my other favourites. It's called Tenzin's Deer. There we go, I'll hold it up to you. Is it by Barbara Soros and Danita Meyer. And the pictures are just absolutely beautiful. But also, I'm afraid it's one of those books I can't read properly without crying. It's just such a lovely, tender book. So my challenge to you is go find a kid's book that you really love. And it could just be a silly one or just a fun one from your childhood, or it could be like a meaningful one as well. And my quote for you today, this is from Rumi. You have to understand the form of the body in order to understand the meaning of light from within it. You have to understand the form of the body in order to understand the meaning of light within it. I hope you have a super day with lots of awareness of your body and maybe some light within it as well. Thank you.